session, so we'll call it to order. We need to do our moment of silence and pledge of allegiance for this one, so.
Remember the Brimer,
Yes, take that in, Bill.
the Brimer family, Buster, taught at school for years, his brother passed away.
All right, thank you for that. Pledge of allegiance. Attention, salute, pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, appreciate that. All right, we're to the public input. We got, takes care of that. All right, so changes to the agenda. I believe Doug had some additions.
Yes, I would like to add the communications coordinator to the unfinished business, and I would like to add the policy manual review to new business.
Okay, so that would be, if everyone's okay with it, under new business, or unfinished business, number one, communications coordinator. And I believe that was or tabled to this
Yes.
meeting. And then, under new business general, number 6 would be the policy review stuff
Policy manual review.
that Doug just handed out. So is there any opposition to adding that to the agenda? All right, hearing none, then that'd be unanimous consent on that. So then that brings then to the approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Paul has moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Doug has seconded. Discussion? All those in favor of the approval of the agenda, show by raising your right hand. I believe that's 7-4, 0 against. Agenda passes. So we've got several things under the consent agenda items, the approval of the minutes, and then a whole host of field trips here, forensics, band, DECA, Skills USA, FCCLA, to Nashville, swim team, science bowl team. So is there a move to approve the consent agenda?
So,
Dawn has made that move. Is there a second?
Second.
Got Danny on that. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor of approving the consent agenda, show by raising your right hand. All right, 7-4, 0 against, that passes. Thank y'all for that. Doesn't look like we have anything on, or maybe we do. Do we got anything on?
I just like to explain, we had a policy committee meeting tonight. However, there were some policies pulled, some that were amended. So rather than vote on those tonight, we'd like to have those presented to you as amended so that we can vote on those next month at our business meeting. So even though we had the policy committee meeting, we would request that we do not have any first reading this evening.
All right. Thank you on that. Think we got anything for budget, so then that brings us down to that unfinished business, which was the addition of the communications coordinator, which was tabled from last month. Is there any motions on that? I believe Doug had.
Mr. Chairman, I move to authorize the creation of the position of District Communications Coordinator. Initial compensation to be no more than $65,000 from existing available budget funds.
I'll read that again. Move to authorize the creation of the position of District Communications Coordinator. initial compensation to be no more than $65,000 from existing available budget funds. Is there a second?
Second that.
Paul, second. Discussion, Doug?
At the last meeting, we discussed this, and because Josh and Coach were not here, we decided to put it off. This is a position that we talked about at the 5-year committee that I think we do need. This week, with the water outage, with all the media requests, with all the outgoing press releases and everything else, I think kind of highlights why we need somebody. The communications coordinator, the whole idea of it kind of sprang out of the idea that our website is really not what it should be. It's hard to navigate. It's virtually impossible unless you know exactly where you're going and what you want to find anything on it. So from that, we figured, well, if we're going to have somebody do that as their primary job, why don't we have them coordinate all the internal communications between schools and the central office, between the central office and the media, as well as the website. Right now, it's being done. I'm kind of repeating some things just because Josh wasn't here and Coach wasn't here. It's being done as a secondary responsibility by other people who kind of fit it in when they can. I think we're to the point now that we need somebody over that to coordinate with our corporate sponsors, our welding, Bush Beans, the media, etc. So I feel that this is needed. The money would not come out, it would come out of available funds that we already have from positions that we probably are not going to be filling. It will not affect our fund balance at all, and so that's why I made the motion.
Paul, you got anything you say?
I just agree 100% with what he said. I'm really big about the website being kept updated, and knowing that somebody would be over that, I think would just benefit the district overall.
Anyone else? All right, then, hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor of the move to authorize the creation of the position of District Communications Coordinator, initial compensation to be no more than $65,000 from existing available budget funds, show by raising your right hand. All those opposed? All right, it's 5-4, 2 opposed. Motion passes 5-2 to create the position of Communications Coordinator. So that takes care of unfinished business. Takes us down to first part of new business. Number 1 being the 5-year district strategic plan, which you all have. It's been worked on. Is there a move on this?
I move that we accept the amended, updated 5-year strategic plan as presented.
Doug's made the move to approve the district strategic plan as presented. Is there a second?
I second.
Dawn has seconded. Any discussion on that?
We had our meeting, our yearly meeting, we updated things. You'll see we changed some of our goals because we realized that some of our initial goals were unreasonable. We amended other goals to identify things that we have accomplished, and so we took those off. We, especially in the one that had to do with facilities, we went from addressing the situation to monitoring the ongoing progress on situations. So it was just an update, overall update, and I believe we'll have more of a presentation on exactly why we did it, but I believe that the plan as amended is realistic and we should go forward.
Thank you. Dawn, you have anything?
No, I support it.
Anyone else with anyone?
I have a question about it. was the updated names, I guess that is something that was changed.
What
Yeah.
page?
Number 4. It's highlighted in yellow, so I guess they changed these numbers here. I'm just curious as to, I'm looking down like the 6th through 8th proficiency language arts. It starts at K through 2, and then 3 to 5, and then 6 to 8. And each year, those numbers keep getting lower as far as you move up in the grade. But specifically the 6 to 8 TCAP proficiency. 36 to 39%, I guess that's where we're at now, 39.8%. Yeah.
I mean,
So, yeah, each one of them starting at a starting point for now with what is considered to be a reasonable goal by the department. The 8th grade proficiency rate for the state of Tennessee is currently 33%. So 50 is putting us at an ambitious target for what the state is currently getting toward. We are already outperforming the state in 8th grade, so like trying to account for the differences in statewide measures is why you see the difference in those measures down the line.
I guess what are we doing to, what do we do different from year to year to increase that number that makes a change? What are things that we do? Is it just data and finding out the kids are doing better? Or like what is it?
I mean, so we start in June, meeting with principals, looking at teachers that have resigned, retired, whatever they may have done, new teachers that are coming in, and evaluating, just like you do a team. Here's the players we have, and here's their strengths and weaknesses. Here's where this group, so then we look at the group they're getting. So you have high groups, you have low groups, so you may be leaving a group that scored 45th percentile as a whole grade level. You may be getting a group that scored 35%, or vice versa. You may be getting a high group. So what do you need to do with that group? So we set up strategic meetings with principals to discuss that with their principal, assistant principal, instructional coach at the beginning of the year. And then we break down throughout the year. So we have meetings every 6 to 9 weeks with those principals, instructional coaches, and leaders within the building to look at, okay, this teacher went on maternity leave, this teacher is resigned, or this teacher whatever. So what do we need to do to fill these gaps? Are they pacing correctly to be able to meet the end goals of reaching all the state objectives and standards? So we also look at those benchmark assessments of iReady to see if they are spending the correct amount of time with their students on iReady to catch up on skill deficiencies and how they're performing on those iReady assessments. So we're evaluating that on an ongoing basis. You know, you might hear the word of we micromanage. Well, I mean, you know, we're running a 7,000 students, 1,000 employees, $80 million budget. We are managing that performance to ensure that we're doing the necessary steps for our students to make sure that we are getting a year's growth. So one thing is, whenever you look at achievement levels, you also have to look at, you know, we're not Maryville City, we're not Oak Ridge. We're not getting students coming in at 75th percentile. and above. So we are really having to work with these students to ensure that they are growing that grade level year's growth and above, to make sure that because whenever a student's behind, just growing one grade level is not enough. We've got to grow them beyond a year's growth so that over a period of time they will catch up. So we take great strides in, that's why you saw 6 of our 11 schools receive a letter grade of an A, and you saw 4 of our schools reach reward school status due to that effort of ensuring that the instructional strategies and aligned curriculums moving students. Anything else, Trevor?
Just for example, we met today with like 6 school teams, realigning support based on the most recent tests, like looking at specific standards. So I mean, it's all the time paying attention to the most recent data that we have and coaching teachers to be stronger in the classroom, on top of everything Dr. Arnold said.
What do you think is, just opinion, what do you think is the reason that, and I see that, you know, in several years that we're trying to attain 50%, you know, I like that it's, you know, it's trying to achieve that. And I get that the whole state is, you know, not the whole state is 75 or 90%. Why do you think, though, that as a state or the county, I mean, 39%, that means 4 out of 10 are basically at reading proficiency, right?
So I think that, Dr. Arnold, you okay if I talk?
Oh, yeah.
I think the statement of reading at a level as defined as proficient by the state versus reading on grade level are 2 totally different things. If you run our numbers, we have probably 60% of our kids are reading on grade level, but they may not be meeting the definition of proficient. When they move to 9th grade, you will see that our scores typically rebound. I think you have 4 middle schools. Each middle school is built of a different student population. When they move to the freshman level, our proficiency rate for the freshman level English 1 class is about 65%. It's like you see middle school, the assessments are more rigorous, they're extremely difficult. By the time we get to high school, we've got them at 65, 70% by the time they're sophomores. It's really just the way the test is designed, and it's reflected in the proficiency rate across the state.
Do you think a consistency in certain subjects, like math and language, English, getting that repetitively over and over would be a good benefit of these students versus them skipping a semester or possibly 2 semesters before they get that subject again? Do you follow what I'm saying?
So that doesn't happen until high school. So at K through 8, they receive math instruction, reading instruction on a daily basis. Not until they're probably between their sophomore and junior year, they can possibly have a year without a math course. I believe that's correct. It's not till their sophomore to junior year before they could have a whole year, like maybe a spring semester or fall semester, without a math course. So we see that maybe affect the ACT score, but it would not affect the TCAP scores.
So this only goes 8th grade?
Only goes to 8th grade.
Do we not
The
get this beyond this?
The ACT is what we use to evaluate, and it's in the rest of the document. The ACT is what we use to evaluate progress at the high school level beyond the EOCs.
Okay, so that's the gauge that we use beyond the
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, there's some end-of-course tests for Algebra 2 and ELA. Is that correct, Trevor?
Algebra 2, ELA, biology, U.S. history.
There you go.
Academic readiness and literacy has the ACT composite we're shooting for year after year, and that measures that at the high school for juniors.
Okay.
Coach?
These lower grade levels, do you have advanced placement math classes?
So we have, so within all of our, we don't group students in elementary school, really in middle school. We don't track students into high, middle, and low groups in classrooms. So you take a general, let's say, 4th grade classroom, you may have students on a 1st grade level and a 9th grade level in the same 4th grade classroom. So that teacher's having to do small group instruction to group students in there based on some abilities they're having in our response to intervention. They call it RTI groups. So we pull kids who are below grade level, and then during that RTI time, we also offer enrichment for students to meet them where they are that are excelling, either in reading or in math, to push them to go further.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
yeah.
Any other questions on this? All right, then we'll vote on Doug's motion to approve the updated 5-year district strategic plan. All those in favor, show by raising your right hand. Any opposed? All right, 7-4-0 against, that passes, and that brings us to the county garage edition. So I'm gonna move to set aside funds from general fund balance not to exceed $220,000 for the proposed 3rd bay for the county garage addition. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any seconds that? I guess, talking about this whole thing, what was it? It was probably 2 or 3 meetings ago with our joint committee meeting that some of this got brought up, and it's been talked about several times since then. And we thought it was, at one point in time, Tommy had talked about this, maybe helping out too, and then it sort of got put on the back burner and what have you. But I feel like they put a lot of time into our buses, and we sure don't want to have to bring our buses back to what we used to have. So I think if we can help them out, and if it doesn't, the money stays with us, like Jessica said, and if they just have to use $1 of it, I guess they just use $1 of it, but I don't think that'll be the case.
Yeah.
But
I do want to go back to, I think the school system also, I think it's a give-give relationship. I mean, we strengthen, in Active 81 combines county finance. The school system, we can run our own finance department. We can fund it. We send money there to strengthen the county's finance department. And I think we also send money to the fleet maintenance that strengthens that fleet maintenance department. So I think that working together, we strengthen our agencies and departments whenever we can do that.
Kenny, you got anything?
I gotta support it. I've worked as a mechanic for 45 years, and I know what it's like to have a 1 bay. You get something broke down in a 1 bay shop and something else comes in, you're outside the code. You're working on it outside because you've got to get it done. So I'm for it 100%.
Yeah, I think Tommy put it really well. We're a stronger county when we work together. They helped us out, resolve the Jefferson Elementary situation. I think we in fact are probably anywhere from 50 to 60% of their workload over there now with the buses. So I think it's to our benefit, and it would, just like Commissioner Brooks said, build for the future. I think it's a good idea.
Anyone else? All right, hearing none. So the move is to set aside funds from general fund balance not to exceed $220,000 for the proposed third bay for the county garage addition. All those in favor of that motion, show by raising your right hand. All right, I believe that's 7-4-0 against, that motion passes. And that brings us to number 3, resolution number 2026-146, Jefferson Middle School surplus. Is there a motion on this?
So moved.
Moved to approve by Bill. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Coach. Any discussion on that? All right, all those in favor show by raising your right hand. All right. Passes unanimously, 7-4-0 against. Then we have resolution number 2026-147, transportation surplus. Is there a move on that?
So moved.
Danny has made a move to approve. Paul second. Any discussion on that one? All right, all those in favor of that resolution being approved, show by raising your right hand. All right, 7-4-0 against. Then we have the one that says we'll hand carry the meeting, but it's actually in your stuff. Resolution number 2026-148, technology surplus. I'll move to approve that. Is there a second?
Second.
Dawn, second. Any discussion on that one? All those in favor then of approving resolution number 2026-148, show by raising your right hand. All right, 7-4-0 against, that one passes. And then that brings us to number 6, which we had added on here about the policy manual review. Is there a motion on this?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I move the board approve a one-time policy manual review by the TSBA to take place after July 1st, 2026, at a cost not to exceed $8,250. This amount to be placed into the 2026-2027 school district budget.
How much is that total, Doug? What?
$8,250. I'll second this. Doug, you got anything?
I think we discussed it before. Coach was not here during that part of the work session. I gave him a sheet that shows pretty much what our policies are, et cetera. I just think it, I think it's a good safeguard, and I'm not gonna take up any more time. I think everybody understands what we're looking.
I agree. I appreciate the policy committee being on top of this. Anybody else got anything on that? All right, then, all those in favor of the move to approve a one-time policy manual review by the TSBA to take place after July 1st, 2026 at a cost not to exceed $8,250. And this amount is to be placed into the 2026-2027 school district budget. Show by raising your right hand. I believe that's 7-4.
Who seconded
Me. 7-4-0 against, and that one passes. And then that brings us down to now the budget amendments that are under new business. We have 3. General Fund 141, number 13, Federal Fund 142, number 6, and Capital Project Fund 177, number 4. So, is there a move on General Fund 141, number 13, items 1 through 6? So moved. All has moved to approve that. Second?
Second.
Any seconded? Any discussion? All right, hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor of approving General Fund 141, number 13, items 1 through 6, show by raising your right hand. 7-4-0 against, that one passes. That takes us to number 2, Federal Fund 142, number 6, item number 1. I'll move to approve that. Is there a second?
Second.
Doug moves, or seconds, I'm getting out of here. Any discussion on that one? All right then, all those in favor of approving federal fund 142, number 6, item number 1, budget amendment, show by raising your right hand. 7-4-0 against, that one passes. And then that brings us to capital project fund 177, number 4, item 1. Is there a move on this?
So moved.
Got Bill on that one. Is there a second?
Second.
Dawn, second. Any discussion on capital project fund 177, number 4, item number 1? All right, all those in favor of approving the budget amendment for capital project fund 177, number 4, item 1, show by raising your right hand. All right, 7-4-0.
Make that motion first.
Bill. All right, that takes us then to school commissioner input. Is there any, I will say this, in regards to the district strategic plan, I want to say I appreciate Doug and Tommy and Dr. LeMay, Miss Ramey, Mr. Collins up here, and Miss Stansberry for working on that. I mean, that's a comprehensive document there. I appreciate them putting the time in there, and that helps our school district, you know, have a roadway forward and a path, and I think that's something that's needed. And you got some measurables there that you can look at, so I appreciate them putting that hard work into that and getting that for us. So, any other input? Yes, sir.
Dr. Arnold, I noticed that there was some grading over at the high school for the ag building. Do we have any kind of a rough estimate on when they're gonna be actually starting construction of it?
I think you'll start seeing, you know, next thing would be gravel and concrete and steel delivery. So right now, they're not planning on anything, you know, even next week will have to dry out some. So I would say the end of February, you'll start seeing some more staging. And then they'll throw that together pretty quick. I'd say by, you know, it'll be finished by the
6 months, what it was.
June, July, end of June, 1st of July.
Mr. Martin said somebody told him once they actually start doing it,
Yeah.
3 weeks.
Of, yeah.
Yeah,
that-
actual construction.
Yeah, and then there'll be some finishes in there, but it goes up fast. I mean, it's a prefab type steel, metal, those type of things, so.
And do we have to wait until it's up to actually order all the stalls inside it? Can we pre-order those and have them ready to go?
Yeah, I've not seen that. I'll get Missy to kind of get together and start getting a list of items to go in that 40 by 40 open stalls and things. So you get with Adam. So I know he gave us a rough estimate, but I've not seen.
I just didn't know if we have to wait to purchase those until it's done, or
It's, we do have that available. We'll start getting a list of items, get some bids, quotes, for that, and we can go from there.
thank you.
Yeah.
Any other input? All right, I think we took care of our announcements. February 21st, 8 till 12, at the Patriot Academy, gonna be the board retreat. If there's nothing else, is there a move to adjourn?
I got it.
I will say Danny on that one, I'll put Paul as the second. All those in favor?